Batman 89, Issue 3, published by DC Comics. Here we go again. One of my least favorite comics, and probably one of the biggest disappointments of 2021 so far. As you know, the first two issues received overwhelmingly negative reviews from yours truly. Can issue 3 defeat the curse of the third and salvage this mess? It tries, but it's not quite enough. It is an improvement though, I'm surprised to say. The writing and the artwork is solid and much better than the first two issues. Likewise, the characterization of some of the characters is very good, and the artwork is visually very interesting at some points. I even like how they set up elements for a sequel. One of the setups happened during a scene between Batman and Catwoman. This was a scene that I was excited about initially, where Batman and Catwoman met atop of a tube, where Catwoman and Batman met atop of a rooftop, the same rooftop from Batman Returns, and they were having a fun date together, more of a reunion. However, that ended up being a disappointment. More on that later. But anyhow, the sequel bait was that Catwoman revealed that she talked to a therapist. And this therapist is none other than Harley Quinn. Yes. And of course, the setup is that Harley Quinn is going to be the villain for the sequel to this story. And that might also explain why Catwoman behaves a little differently than she did in Batman Returns. It's probably Harley Quinn's influence on her. In this universe, Harley Quinn is a TV therapist, and she even mentions that a 14-year-old boy who wears a yellow cape often calls and says that he's Batman's psychic. Of course, this cannot be Drake Winston, the Robin in this story. So that's probably just a nod to Dick Grayson or any of the other Robins. It's very lame, to be honest. Anyhow. This connection between Catwoman and Harley Quinn might set up the Gotham City Sirens for the sequel. And if that's the route they're going to need a third lady to be the third member of the Gotham City Sirens. So, if there is a sequel, they might bring in Poison Ivy. Maybe. Although honestly, I hope not. Given how they have a tendency for race swapping redheads, and knowing the precedent set by this series, I wouldn't be surprised if they race swap Poison Ivy. Because, you know, they hate gingers. Screw them. I love redheads. But anyhow, another character who received the spotlight was Harvey Dent. And he was the most interesting part of this book so far. They gave his obsession with probability a very unexpected connection to the multiverse, and that was fun. We also got a fun trip inside of Harvey Dent's fractured mind. We kept seeing levels of reality that wouldn't be out of place in Christopher Nolan's Inception. And through this trips inside of Harvey Dent's mind, we got to see the way, we got to see the relationship that Bruce Wayne has with Harvey Dent, and how Harvey Dent doesn't really respect Bruce Wayne. And so yeah, we got to see Harvey Dent's psychology and his relationship with Bruce Wayne. And Harvey Dent is a jerk. A very narcissistic jerk, to be honest. Although they set up a nice rivalry between Bruce Wayne and Harvey Dent, and they even set up the reasoning for Harvey Dent outright hating Bruce Wayne, because Bruce Wayne and Robin team up and end up saving Harvey Dent from the burning warehouse. And because of that, the entire city now thinks Bruce Wayne is a hero. So that doesn't look good for Harvey Dent. Sadly, that's the extent of the good in this book. The worst character in this book was Bruce Wayne, who is not charming like he was in the movies. He comes off as a creep, and his white guilt is unbearable and pathetic. We also saw Robin trying to blackmail Bruce Wayne, possibly because he figured out Batman's secret. The Black Lives Matter allusions continue to drive the plot, and they continue to be a detriment to the story, in my opinion. And sadly, my least favorite moment of this book was Batman and Catwoman's rooftop date. I was so looking forward to that. I love their relationship and I love their chemistry in the Batman Returns movie. Sadly, like everything in this book, this fails to resemble the Tim Burton films. And likewise, Batman and Catwoman had no chemistry. The scene started out okay. We even had a little tease about Bruce keeping Selina's cat, which is what happened at the very end of Batman Returns. Almost as a promise that she would return. And it was very sweet because Selina's cat is adorable and clearly likes Bruce. But yeah, the scene started out okay, but instead of being fun and sexy like in Batman Returns, Batman came off as a creep and Selina came off too preachy, and overall the whole exchange was awkward. The chemistry was gone, and nothing of importance besides the Harley Quinn sequel bait happened. I gave up hope of this book ever resembling the Tim Burton films, and now I guess any excitement I had for Batman and Catwoman interactions is mostly gone now. This version of Catwoman is not as good as the one from Batman Returns, and is clearly not Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. Well. So, overall, issue 3 is more of the same bad crap, but with a few sprinkles of goodness. Sadly, a turd is a turd, no matter how much you... A turd is a turd, no matter how pretty you make it look. So, final rating, slime it. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Au revoir. Night night.